Hello, this is Narahn again. My bird. She's to me she sounds like a squeaky toy, but to a lot of people she sounds like a petrified cat. So I'm just letting you know that there are no cats being petrified in this video. It's just my bird. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, but over here is her cage. So yes, she's a little strange. And this is my dog, and he gets quite confused when I do some of these videos. I've noticed he gets confused because he doesn't know what's going on. But anyway, this one's going to be on howling for Pariah Pack. I will try to keep it as short as I can, so it's not super long. First, I just want to talk a little bit about why wolves howl. A lot of times they're howling within the same pack, and other times they're howling to different packs that may have neighboring territories, or even a lone wolf that's just kind of in the area. They tend to howl to kind of prevent fights and combat. Usually they'll try to, like if a pack has a territory that they're trying to defend, the first thing that they're going to do is howl to the pack that is trying to trespass, to try and see if they can just shoot them away without any kind of conflict. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. When it doesn't work, obviously you've got some fighting going on. But usually wolves will try everything to avoid fighting. They may make a lot of noise and stuff, but and look scary, but especially within the same pack, they try to avoid any type of fighting. It is hard for wolves these days because territory is so limited. A wolf can, travel 22 miles in one day. So their territories are usually pretty large, and with more and more people that are starting to take away some of the habitat, they only have so many places to go. So anyway, that's just kind of how and why. A lot of times you'll see wolves standing on rocks or something up high while they're howling, and that is to project the howl as far as they can, to be in a space that it's going to be heard the loudest. Howls are very loud. So I try to, when I do this, especially this kind of video, I try to avoid doing stuff outside unless it's in a place that's pretty rural, because if you do that and you're too close to somebody else's house on the other side of the lot or whatever, they may think you're a coyote or something and come out with a flashlight and a gun. So but anyway, I think that I may have to do some different techniques just to show you guys. To me, howling has not been much of a study in science. They've studied a lot about wolves in general, but they have not done much studying on howls in specific. So a lot of this to me is kind of intuitive / my interpretation versus something proven by science. So it's kind of what I interpret. Every wolf's howl is a little different. Even though the pack usually holds the same message, each individual wolf's howl varies from wolf to wolf. So I'll kind of just go by what my howl sounds like and show you. what I think is, you know, a territorial apart from, you know, something friendly or a gathering howl or, you know, stuff like that. A warning howl. So there's different messages that these howls can send, but unfortunately I do not have any scientific evidence to say yes, this has been proven. But it is what I have learned just by observing, and I hope that it's helpful. As far as how to howl, it should not hurt your throat at all. If you have ever been in either a chorus or something like that, where they've told you to open your throat, that's the same kind of concept. You want to have a really open throat when you do this. It shouldn't, you know, again, it shouldn't make you sore or anything, but you're not going to have that full sound if you don't have an open throat. You also do have to relax your throat, because if it's too tense, it's not going to come out right. When I'm nervous, I can't howl because the muscles in my throat are too tense, or, you know, when I haven't practiced it in a while, sometimes the first or second, you know, howl or breath that I take is not, it sounds kind of funny. But overall, that's the gist of it. It's taken me years to be able to howl and not sound like a person. So, you know, and with the growling video that I did and barking and stuff like that, it took very little compared to this. It took, you know, that was well, not even, that was like 2 weeks compared to, you know, 3 or 4 years. So some of you may get it quicker than that, some of you may take longer. But just a warning that if you're going to try to impersonate or whatever a wolf howl, that it's probably not going to come to you right away. And to just keep at it. And for all the normal people out there, yes, this is going to be another strange video, but for everybody that doesn't mind the strangeness, I will go ahead and kind of give you a few examples of wolf howls. There's going to be one that is excitable, there's going to be one that's kind of threatening, and there's going to be one that's more friendly. It kind of just depends, but I'll announce each one and what it is before. My dog may kind of try and get in my face, and of course my bird she's not stopping. As you can tell, she's not gonna stop talking. So anyway, I've got dog hair on me now. This is my nose. Anyway, first one I'm going to start out with is I would call it either a gathering howl or a friendly howl. A lot of times I've kind of witnessed lone wolves do this howl where it's high, starts out high and then goes kind of low. And that's usually what I start out with. And then kind of the gathering howl, or what I call a gathering howl, is kind of a little more complicated than that, but not much. You're allergic to me. So this one is going to be just kind of like a social or a howl that wolves do, just kind of to communicate. It's not anything aggressive or anything. I gotta get the dog hair off of me before I do this. Okay, there we go. I think all the dog hair is gone. That was kind of just like I'm going basically from high to low. I would just call that kind of low friendly howl. The next one is what I call gathering howl. You guys can interpret it any way you want to, but this is just kind of how I interpret things. It's kind of like a voice crack, has a voice crack in it. I don't know. It's kind of similar to when you sing and you do a voice crack on purpose. And the other thing to be mindful of is never try to howl with your head all the way down, or out at the side in an odd position, because it's not gonna want to come out. I would either be sitting, or standing, or at least lying down to where you're not on your side. And it's something that is hard for me to explain, so if I'm not making sense. The other thing is that you'll see wolves do this. They tilt their head back when they howl, and there's a reason for that. It does help them hit the notes they want to hit, and it helps them be able to howl easier. You don't have to, but I've done it that way for so long that I don't know how not to do it that way. So this one is a gathering howl. Hopefully my voice is warmed up so where I won't have to do it much before I get it right. So that one is kind of a 3-note low and high then low, which is the one that I use the most. This next one is going to kind of be more of a warning. A lot of howls that are warning howls have a lot of more barking, or sort of barking, to them. Lower notes. Like lower, longer notes. So I'll do this one next, and then there's one more after that. Sorry, my dog is kind of getting in the, he's confused. That is kind of the lower ones, the lower pitched, are usually more territorial based. At least that's what I take into it. Even if they start out high and then they go low, if it's a long note like that, and it's a low, long note with some barks, sometimes that can do it. And I'm not talking about, a full bark, but kind of what you just heard. The last one is, I don't use this much because I have to be very excited and overflowing with with energy and have a good warmed up voice before this happens right. But this one is used a lot by yearlings, or maybe 6-month-olds that are just beginning to howl, or it could be just an excitement of the pack, because sometimes I've heard when one wolf starts howling like this, and all of them do kind of respond in that way. So to me, it's more of a excitement-based thing. It's very erratic, even though it does at times have a little bit of a puppy or even coyote sound to it. I have heard wolves do this, real wolves, not coyotes. And it is kind of just one that you can have a lot of fun with. It uses a different part of your throat that makes a completely different sound than that fullness sound. I may start out with the fullness sound just to be able to get to this one, so it may sound the same for a few seconds, but then after that I should be able to switch to what I'm going to show you, and you'll understand what I mean by erratic. So you'll be able to pick up on which one is which, for sure. So I know that was very loud and obnoxious, but that's why I don't use it much, because it's the loudest one. And my bird, of course, she wanted to sing along, so I'm sure you heard her in the background. But that is, to me, a more high energy excitement thing than you know, any specific message that you're trying to convey. And it will sound different, but it'll have the same main tone to it, kind of more coyote based than the well-known wolf calls that you hear that were kind of earlier in the video. But I have heard wolves do it more than one time, so I know that it's not a coyote. Coyotes tend to be a lot higher pitched, and not really, even though it sounds similar, it's much higher pitched than that. I'm going to try to, in this video here, and just post several other videos in addition to this, just so I keep this as short as possible. I'm trying to shorten things, but unfortunately I have a array of difficulty with shortening things. So thank you, Pariah Pack. I look forward to speaking with you on any questions you may have, and this concludes the howling video.